Yep. Great. Good. Here we go. All right, everybody that is tuning in, we have a prisoner on the loose. Prisoner on the loose. Right now at 104 in the East, you are looking live at the ACI, Adult Correctional Institution in Cranston, where we have right now prisoner on the loose and a fugitive search is underway. There's Catherine at 104. Now we are live on TikTok. We are live on Facebook. We are live on X. And we're live on YouTube. And in less than 2 minutes, we're going to be live on the radio. Share that you are watching. We'll give you the details. Now we're working to find out exactly who it is that they're searching for. But we have a prisoner on the loose. Now I advise various people, you want to be really cautious in a situation like this. And this is one of those situations. Locked doors. There's got to be some reason why somebody suddenly just breaks off and heads out. So, yes. And I believe, can I get an audio check? There's Linda. Catherine, if we could get an audio check for, I believe the audio should be clean on Facebook and X and also on YouTube. And I believe the audio should also obviously be fine on TikTok. And we're going to be live on the radio in just a moment, but we just need an audio check we'll give more details. Perfect sound, says Catherine. All right, here we go. Folks, we have a fugitive search right now. Prisoner loose, 106 in the East, October 10th. So we're going to wait for the go-ahead. There we are at 106 on this Thursday, October 10th. This is the real news. It's Road Patrol on the road. And right now, what you're looking at, we are on the radio at AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. You can listen at the website, dpetro.com. For those that are watching right now, what you're looking at is the adult correctional, this is the adult correctional institution known as the ACI, Cranston, Rhode Island. And the reason why we're here, and we are live on TikTok, we are live on X, we are live on YouTube, Facebook. Right now is we have a fugitive that is on the loose. Hold on, someone's questioning me. Yes, sir. I'm just doing a broadcast. Media. Doing a media broadcast. Oh, okay. I thought this is public property. No. Okay. All right, I'm going to move that. Okay. All right. Now they're asking me to move, which means we're going to have to shut down our TikTok feed and we're going to move across the street. TikTok does not allow us to be live like that. Everybody else, be patient. He's saying, and listen, again, we're not trying to cause any problems here. That's all right. We can do this. That this is maximum security. Now, I have been in here before in broadcast, but I can imagine, folks, as you can tell, so we're in motion. Everybody's on high alert because they have a fugitive on the loose, and a prisoner got loose from the ACI this morning. So not a problem. We're going to relocate, and I already see I think the spot that we're going to go to, I think we should be okay connection-wise. Again, when we were in that lot with when they had the riot at the prison, but I want to be very clear, I completely understand that officials at the ACI have to be cautious because of the situation where they have right now a fugitive on the loose. So we're going to relocate in just a moment to a little bit of a different spot. Oh, all right, let me go around one more time. And then we, again, if you're listening right now, and I'm well aware that we are live, that we're going to, I think we should be okay. Everybody just bear with me. Bear with me here. Again, this is what it's like when we're mobile. This is what it's like when it's road patrol. But you can tell. Now, I want to be very, very clear that I understand that they are prison officials are on what you could say high alert because of the nature of that they have a fugitive on the loose. So I get that. I get that. But at the same time, let's be honest, the public has a right to know, in fact, that if we have someone who is on the loose right now, and again, I do have the story. Now, we did break the story earlier that the fact that this happened. We did break it earlier. If you want to see the quote from spokesperson at the ACI, you can see that on the website, depetro.com. But I want to stay, we're going to give you the details that we have. I can't stress enough, and if the moderators could put, we have details and a quote on the website, depetro.com. Folks, right now at 110 on this, although I mean, listen, if we really wanted to ride around, there's other various places that we could go. We'll just stay here right now for our purposes. This portion of our program, of Fugitive on the Loose, is brought to you by PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Now, listen, if I were to break out of the joint, let's just say I was involved with a prison break, I would want to go. My first stop would be PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, only because right now they have such a selection of homegrown mums and kale. Mums and kale sizes 4-inch, 12-inch pots. Look for them on Facebook. It's Steve and Debbie and Junior and Byron. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. They also have pumpkins, straw bales, corn stalks, gourds, Indian corn, and more. Native vegetables. They have it all. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. And remember, this is the perfect time for planting. This is an ideal time of year to plant because it's cool at night, nice sunny days like today, and you don't need as much watering. It's PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center. Now, I mentioned we do have the story on the website, depetro.com. Don't forget depetro.com, which is brought to you by the Coesit Inn, 226 Coesit Avenue, West Warwick. Lunch, dinner, drinks in the lounge. They're waiting for you at the Coesit Inn. Now, let me recap and reset here. It's 111 in the East. We are live on TikTok. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube, X. Also, you can listen at the website, depetro.com. The reason why we are right now, why in fact we are in motion, is because the ACI has in fact had a prisoner. Now, I also want to, if you log on to the website, which I'm actually going to do right now, if you log on to the website, you'll see where we have where they say technically the person walked away from the prison, didn't break out. The fact of the matter, excuse me, the fact of the matter is, I'm not going to argue with them, but you still have someone who was an inmate this morning, and then he's no longer at the prison, and he's on the loose. He was there for a reason. He was behind those walls, excuse me. He was incarcerated for a reason. And so right now, let's talk about many of the reasons why the public should be on guard when we have someone that get out. When someone gets out, when someone feels the need to suddenly get out of the prison, what would be the reasons? Anyone that has covered some of these, and to alarm people, but it's normally because something happens in their world and they feel that they need to get out to handle it. So there are people, I believe, now I was provided a source that I have at the correctional facility told me who they believe it is. Now, I'm not going to release that because it's not confirmed. And then if you're wrong, they go, ballistic, and then they always hang it over your head. But my point is, many times something happens where, in their world, and it could be a variety of different things, but a lot of times when somebody breaks out of the joint, when someone escapes from a prison. Now, I'm not saying you do have prisoners that then, they start heading for the border. They want to go south, wherever, right? Like, I mean, some of the prison breaks that we have. But a lot of times locally, it could be something is going on with a baby mama, an ex. They're upset with something happened on the outside, and they feel the need that they need to handle business. Now, not all the time. I want to be very clear. Not all the time. If you remember, you had the guy in Johnston, Rhode Island, and he was, I think he was involved with art theft, and he got tipped off that they were going to search one of his properties, that he had some stolen valuables, and he figured out a way to break out, and he made his way over to where that was. He moved his valuables before they could find them, and then they basically caught up to him. So he was a man on a mission. So on something like this, we don't know. I'm not going to release it. I'm going to let this play out. I can tell you that normally they don't like these types of situations. I get that, right? Like, no correctional facility wants to say that they have a fugitive, that they have a prisoner who is now on the loose, that is supposed to be right what you're looking at right now, and is suddenly now. Of course they don't want to. And so I contacted them early this morning. Again, I have no problem with the Department of Corrections. They immediately, well, not immediately, but they did respond. I want all of you that have the ability to send live gifts, or those of you that can send stars, to know, and that's become commonplace now. We broke the story. As a result of us breaking the story, Channel 10 television station, Channel 6 TV station, they then contact the Department of Corrections. Hey, do you have a prisoner that's on the loose right now? Then they realize they have to release a statement. But my experience has been, many times in a perfect world, they try to make a quick capture of the fugitive before it gets out there. But anytime, and as someone who I mean, I grew up in Cranston, and it was just something you dealt with. Okay, the prisons in Cranston. I didn't grow up in this section of Cranston, but it is something that the residents of Cranston have to deal with. I'm not convinced that this should be here. Several years ago, we had someone run for governor, Giovanni Feroci, that was saying, the fact that Cranston, which is right now one of the more desirable places to live, has the prison plopped down in it, when you could put it anywhere. I mean, there's empty space in different cities and towns. Central Falls, they thrive off the fact that they have the Wyatt Detention Center. I could see at some point, there should be a movement actually in Cranston. Like, this easily could be a nice development. It doesn't make sense to house all the inmates right here in Cranston. It could be, there's plenty of space in different parts of the state where they could then just have a brand new correctional facility. I mean, look how old this thing is. But anyhow, that's another story. Now, folks, staying on target, I want to remind you right now, 118 in the East. And again, this afternoon, we will be active road patrol as they search for the fugitive. So we do have, just repeating our top story, there is a prisoner loose from the ACI, regardless how you want to describe it. They say, well, he's technically didn't escape. Listen, there's someone who's on the loose who's a fugitive who's not supposed to be, was incarcerated this morning and then got out. So I'm not going to parse words with them. But anyhow, but this portion of the program, now I also want to talk about the West Warwick armed robbery situation. So folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by AJ Home Improvement. Now remember, if you're looking to improve your home or business, AJ Home Improvement, call them today, 401-323-9252. Frame to finish basements, acoustical ceilings, new homes, additions, commercial rehabs, painting, remodeling. They do it all. It's AJ Home Improvement. Call them today, 401-323-9252. And remember, you want to be cautious of who you're hiring to come into your home or business to do some of this work. There are some unreputable places that hire people that were living at the place you're looking at right now for quite some time. Do you really want ex-cons in your business in your home? I don't know about that. Instead, AJ Home Improvement, frame to finish basements, acoustical ceilings, new homes, commercial rehabs, they do it all. AJ Home Improvement. Now, right now at 119 in the East, let me go through again our different platforms. We're on AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. You can listen at the website, dpetro.com. At the very top, it says listen live. You click on that, and that also is the stories that I'm referencing. We are also right now, we are live on our Facebook page. Thank you for the stars. We're live on YouTube, and we are live on X, and we're live on TikTok. Now, two other things I want to mention. Number one, last night, and I posted this for the subscribers to see. So we were in Pawtucket, and someone sent this to me. I also shared it on Instagram. There were people in the building that were watching our live coverage on TikTok, where you had Pawtucket police respond. It was a standoff in Pawtucket, and it was on the third floor, and people wondering, why are all these police on the third floor? But I want to point out the people in the building that were watching it, and I think that's why that guy came out to walk his dog, because then he was right in the middle of the stream. But they have their TikTok account hooked up to their television. So they were watching it in, I don't know how big that is, but pretty big. So you can watch it that way. The other thing I want to mention, check out dpetro.com. Now, today is Thursday, not breaking any news here. Today is Thursday. Tuesday night, Road Patrol Live. Where did we end up? We ended up in West Warwick. Why? Armed robbery at the Dollar General. That's the name of it. So, as those of you that were watching, and we have the video up on the website, dpetro.com, great job by West Warwick Police. They were able to investigate, and they located the individual. Hey, that guy pulled a firearm at the Dollar General. He lives in Coventry, and that was an armed robbery that could have gone sideways Tuesday night. Now, my point is, folks, as you can tell, and those of you that watch, the rest of the, quote, traditional media, they're not showing you all the news that is going on. For instance, okay, I get that people want to know what's a good cake recipe. Or I understand in this part of the country, people and the TV stations love to do who has the best chowder recipe. All right, I get that. I mean, that's not my type of thing. But you tell me, would you be more interested to know that there was an armed robbery? Someone flashed a handgun, someone known to police. That guy was a felon who was already out on probation. He was not supposed to be in a possession of a firearm, let alone use it for an armed robbery. Would you rather know that? Wouldn't you want to know if there's a fugitive loose from the prison? So, right now, the local media that is inundated with let's show this, roof being blown off down in Florida. Well, okay, I get that. I get that there's a hurricane in Florida right now. And I get that Harris can't, put two sentences together. But I think I'd rather know if there was an armed robbery in my neighborhood, someone's using a firearm to commit armed robbery, and or if there's a fugitive on the loose from the ACI. So I think that's the type of news that I think is important. That's the type of news I think that people want. So that is the type of news. Now, again, just as a heads up for everyone, whether you're watching on TikTok or you're watching on Facebook, or we will be active later, many times, as you can imagine. This is, I want to be very clear. I respect the individuals at Department of Corrections. We wish them no ill will. It was a year ago, August. We were right here on that Friday night when they had the riot at the ACI. A lot of things can go wrong. We were here for the prison protest not long ago. But I understand this isn't a story that they like out there. And they don't like the idea that it gets a lot of coverage, that there's someone who is an inmate right now who's a fugitive, who's supposed to be behind those walls, but is suddenly now loose on the street. So I believe that's the type of news that the public, I think, you're entitled to. I think that's the type of news that people want to know. And there's various people that may want to be on guard right now. And there's various reasons why sometimes, as I said, these inmates get out. This portion of our program is brought to you by Kids Club on the Pike. Folks, remember, if it's a birthday party, if you're listening or watching right now, and you're in the process of putting together a celebration for young kids, children, maybe it's a birthday party, maybe it's a soccer party for the kids on the soccer team, maybe it's a cheerleading party, maybe the kids are involved with youth football and their mothers are fighting getting arrested, just like the people in North Providence. Kids Club on the Pike is the perfect spot. Birthday parties, look for them on Facebook. Kids Club on the Pike, right on the Cranston-Johnston line. They have preschool programs, before and after school programs. Kids Club on the Pike. It's great. It's clean. It's immaculate. It's not like Chuck E. Slee's where every kid that leaves has a germ. Kids Club on the Pike. They could have a party for 2-year-olds. They could have a party for 13-year-olds. They have Xboxes. They have a movie room. They have a 50s style diner. The kids will love it. And then not only are they enjoying themselves, and especially if you're a teen, you could have a nice little banquet, and then the kids can kind of like run around a little bit and play. Kids Club on the Pike would be perfect spot for a birthday party. Look for them on Facebook. Well, folks, again, good afternoon. 126. You are watching. This is our live coverage. Fugitive on the Loose, Road Patrol Live. We have an inmate who is on the loose from the ACI. Those that are just tuning in, there it is in all its glory. And it's very daunting at night, by the way. That is the Adult Correctional Institution at the ACI. And I'm actually getting messages right now from some of the inmates that are watching. Good afternoon to all the inmates at the ACI. But one of them is loose. When they did a cell count, suddenly line up, and it looks like we have an Andy Dufresne. So we have a Tommy Lee Jones type fugitive search. And right now, they know who they're looking for. As of right now, they're not releasing it to the public, but they did put out a be on the lookout for some of the local police departments. Now, I don't think it went to all police departments, and I don't fully understand that, other than many times my experience has been that they try to capture the individual before they announce that they even got out. I mean, I don't think that's helpful to the public. I get why, for their reasons, they want to. Oh well, we want to see if we can catch them before we announce that they're a fugitive. Yeah, I think this falls under the public rights to know. I think this would be come in handy right now for the public to know that you have, hey, the person was in there for some reason. The person was behind those bars for some reason. So we don't know. And by the way, we don't know what aspect of the facility they were working in. Maybe they were working in the kitchen. Maybe they were working in the library. Folks, remember, speaking of kitchen, if you're thinking of a new kitchen or bathroom, Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen, their beautiful state-of-the-art showroom right in Warwick. Call them 401-433-7272. Dreammaker. It's right near Crown Plaza. It's right next to Kochai. Dreammaker Bath and Kitchen. Dennis and Christina are incredible. respect, integrity, customer focus. You know, the kitchen is such a focal point of life. That's where conversations are made. That's where the families spend the most time. So why not have your dream kitchen with Dream Maker Bath and Kitchen? Again, call them, make an appointment. Their beautiful state-of-the-art showroom, 401-433-7272, Dream Maker Bath and Kitchen. Well, folks, again, good afternoon. You're watching our live coverage, Road Patrol Live. We got a fugitive loose. What does this mean? This is normally they try to pinpoint. We've seen some of these in the past. Number one, let's get the canines ready. Number two, let's make sure the drone is ready to go. They try to pinpoint where these individuals are. Many times, these result in standoffs. When someone gets out, the first thing they need cash. Many times they want to settle business. There's some reason they didn't break out to do some shopping at the mall. They didn't break out to vote. Why did the person get out? Many times they're looking to settle business. You know, something else that doesn't get reported enough is there are some people on the street, by the way, I want to put in, and prisoners have told me this, inmates have told me this, people detained, incarcerated have shared with me that many times the reason why many people on the street, they develop a false sense of security because various individuals are incarcerated. Many times there are people on the street that, you know, like to run their mouth a little bit because they feel whoever, pick an inmate, Jose, Deshaun, anyone like that, pick any inmate name, whatever it may be, is what's he going to do about it? He's locked up. So therefore, you know, maybe I'm going to go spend time with his baby mama. Maybe I'm going to, you know, whatever. Maybe I'm going to spend time at his crib. Maybe I'm going to, you know, have my way with his, whatever it may be. And they have a false sense like, why? What is he going to do about it? He's locked up. He's not going anywhere. And so sometimes they get provoked to get out. But I can tell you right now that state police, Department of Correction officials, they are furiously looking to locate this individual. Number one, before they can get out of the state. Number two, before they can sometimes they commit another crime. So and by the way, there's no guarantee that they're going to catch them right away. A lot of times, if they have a car waiting, they could be on, you know, they had an 8:30 start. 8:30 start right around there this morning. So 5 hours, you could be well into New Jersey right now in 5 hours. You could be in northern Rhode Island in 5 hours. You could certainly be in Pennsylvania in 5 hours from where we are. So you don't know that. They could be on a train somewhere. I mean, the real sophisticated ones, they get a fake ID, board a plane out of Logan, and boom, who knows where they could be in the air somewhere. But a lot of times, the first thing they do is they want to get out. So we will be, make sure you follow the page. We will have full coverage, fugitive search later today. And sometimes these things can drag on, and you really have to, you know, you have to proceed with caution. You have many people that once they get out, what do they say? I'm never going back. Oh, I'm not going back there. So it becomes, you know, admittedly, as you can imagine, it becomes a tricky situation. Law enforcement, you really have to be on guard when you're trying to apprehend someone who is a fugitive from the ACI, from any prison, by the way, any prison. So, because many times they have that mentality. I'm not going back. I am never going back. Watch the town. What is Jeremy Renner? What is he Coughlin? What does he say? I'm not going back. We're going to hold court on the street. Think of the scene in Heat. What is Robert De Niro? What is Macaulay? What does Macaulay tell Vincent, who's Al Pacino's character? I am never going back. Never. So they developed that mentality. What does that mean? It really means that law enforcement, they have to be on extra guard. I'll tell you, folks, they are, if they get word where the fugitive is, when you have a prisoner who is now out on the street, they go in as rough as they're going to go in. Put it that way. Put it that way. They're not politely asking them, "Hey, we think you need to report back to the facility." That they go in knowing they already have a date. Now, keep in mind also, admit it, we don't know who it is that's loose. So people can downgrade. If people's been in a long, if you have someone who's dangerous, who's been in for a long time, they keep getting downgraded because there are people that are going to get, ideally, paroled someday. And they are going to get out, whether people like it or not. So you don't know who it is that is then on the loose. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by J. Perry Paving. Call them today, 401-732-1730. Letter J, J. Perry Paving. If you would like your driveway paved, if you would like your parking lot paved, call J. Perry Paving. They do a great job. Free quote, free estimate, letter J, J. Perry Paving, 401-732-1730. 401-732-1730, letter J, J. Perry Paving. High quality, fair pricing, exceptional service, 20 years experience, specialized commercial paving, residential paving, seal coating patios, free estimate, J. Perry Paving. Folks, I also want to remind you, now right now it's 1:35 in the East. You're watching the real news of Road Patrol Live. Let's just go over the past couple of days. What you're looking at, if you're watching, that is the ACI. They're one short. That's right. When they did a count, they got one inmate short. We have a fugitive on the loose. An inmate is on the lam that they are furiously trying to capture. Now, let's just look at the past couple of nights. Today is Thursday. Monday night, shooting in Providence, we were live. Tuesday night, armed robbery, West Warwick. Last night, police standoff in Pawtucket. Now we're at the ACI, where you have a fugitive on the loose. Folks, I implore you to today, not tomorrow, today, visit George, my gun guy, at Rhode Island Guns and Ammo. Post Road in Warwick. I am pleading with you, implore you to get, at the very least, a defensive shotgun for your home. Rhode Island Guns and Ammo. Here's the real story. Is the talking points for Biden-Harris is crime is down. Now, we are, Rhode Island, Mass is a Democrat-run state. So the talking points that they put out there is that crime is down. Is there anyone that watches Road Patrol that believes crime is down? Please, for the good of your business, for your employees, for your family, stop in and see George, Rhode Island Guns and Ammo, Post Road in Warwick. They're right near Greg's. Stop in. I shared his Facebook page. He's got a new shipment of ammo in. Folks, as the economy is not getting better, the economy is getting worse. We are, in fact, being invaded. The criminals are becoming more brazen. How brazen are they getting? Now they're breaking out. It's bad enough the judges let them out. Visit George, Rhode Island Guns and Ammo. Now, once the election is over, and I get right now, if you're watching on TikTok, you can put where you're watching from. Those that are watching on Facebook and YouTube and X, you can also put where you're watching from. Here's the story. In our part of the country, especially in the Northeast, there are people watching from around the country. There are actually people watching from around the world. Where Rhode Island is located, we are 3 hours from New York City right now. Right now, if we were to leave where we are driving, you could get to New York City in 3 hours. So we are 1 hour from Boston, 3 hours from New York. So the gangs and the cartels have decided and more discovered the Rhode Island is a very good vantage point to be based out of. And so this area, you can't keep, are they attracted to Boston? Of course they're attracted to Boston. So, but they're attracted to anywhere outside of driving distance to New York. So many of the cartels based out of New York, all of those migrants that they're putting up at the hotels that we're paying for, by the way, they realize, okay, we can be in Connecticut in 2 hours. We can drive and be in Rhode Island in 3 hours, and we can be in Boston in 4 hours. And so they start going around to some of the different areas and committing crime at some of the different areas. So my point is, what you're going to learn after the election, once the election is over, a bad secret that has been kept from everyone, hidden from everyone, I should actually say, is the fact that the cartels have a presence here in this area. And no one wants to talk about it. And they all want to pretend that it's not going on. But the fact of the matter is, it is going on. And they do have a presence. And they are more involved with crime in this area than anybody wants to let on to. And it's a huge problem for the police. So much of it is politically motivated, where the Harris Biden people try to keep crime. They try to downplay it because of the election, and I know this for a fact. They try to pretend that crime is not the problem that it is, and as a result of that, would if should there be a change in administration after the election, then you're going to learn that the cartels have been running wild based out of New York. Now, it's not just, I'm just talking about our part of the country. Now, clearly, there are cartels in Texas. The cartels control the drug trade in Chicago. But what a lot of people, this never gets highlighted. And you have someone like Patricia Morgan puts up a billboard saying close the border, and local media are mocking it and trying to say, oh, is she talking about Connecticut? See, they don't take it seriously. But the worst kept secret is what I'm trying to say. The worst kept secret in our area is the effect of the cartels and the gang violence that is taking place. Because those of you that watch Road Patrol and those of you that tune in for the real news, I mean, you tell me, the narrative that crime is down, does that match what we see on it? No, it doesn't match what we see on a nightly basis. It's an example of, are you going to believe me or your lying eyes? But it's not just. There are cartel members that have enacted violent crimes in the Northeast, and the feds know about it. ATF knows about it. The FBI knows about it. Homeland Security knows about it. But they've been advised by the department, by the Biden administration at Harris now, to try to downplay it and continue this narrative that crime is down. I mean, anyone that pays attention, that it, and I want to be very clear. Police can only do so much. As I've said, police can't be everywhere. I think actually, and again, right now at 1:43, you're watching. This is Road Patrol Live, the real news at 1 on this Thursday, October 10th. What you're looking live at, for those that are watching, is we have a fugitive inmate on the loose from the ACI. And again, I do want to repeat, we will be active with Road Patrol later, because these can get pretty dicey when they have to try to capture the fugitive. Because as I've told you many times, you're talking about Somebody ended up in that prison, and they got there for a reason. You think of all the people that get suspended sentences. You think of all the people that beat the rap. You think of all the different criminals that they give them second, third chances on. If you're landing behind bars, it's almost, by and large, it becomes violent offenders. So there's somebody that is on the loose who's a fugitive who's not supposed to be out there. So, and I want to be very clear. I don't blame when state police, when they're going, the fugitive task force. Now, this is also, you get the marshals are involved. They're the ones that then have to capture these individuals, the marshals. They go in pretty heavy. They, put it this way, they roll pretty deep. This isn't two guys knocking on a door. This is, if they get a sense of where they are, they go in guns blaring. Nobody likes this. You know who doesn't like it? The marshals don't like it. The ACI doesn't like it. The correctional people don't like it. Nobody likes this. Nobody likes this. Whoever this is, whoever decided, you know what? I have a chance to go on the lam. Well, we're going to see about that. We're going to see if, when all is said and done, if they still think, when this thing is over, if they think it was such a good idea. I can tell you they're on high alert across the street right now. And because now you also have who's the accomplices, who knew about it, who right now, what you're looking at, which is the ACI in Cranston, there is someone there who wants to get some time knocked off their sentence. And what do they say? I know where so-and-so's heading. I know I know what the plan was. Remember, anytime somebody runs afoul, there's always someone saying, I think I know where that person is. If I can get, 9 months shaved off my sentence, if I can get blah, 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 somebody right now could be a canary and rat out where they believe that individual is. Don't kid yourself. Don't think. People that say, no, they have a code behind those walls. That's not what I've heard. That conflicts with the information that I've heard. Folks, what happened in Goodfellas? What did Paulie tell Henry? Hey, what you did when you were away, that was then. You did whatever you have to do to survive. What did Henry tell Karen in Goodfellas? Hey, we're on our own. They don't care. We're on our own. It's just us. So now, right now, folks, I see Channel 10, NBC 10, those rats, they're entering. They're going to be in your view. They didn't give me any credit for breaking the story. See, this is what I try to give credit. I'm always fair. And right now, you can see NBC 10 has entered outside of the facility, and they better get kicked out just the way I did. Let me make sure that you can, I want to make sure that everyone viewing, I just want to, yeah, oh, okay, let me go this way. There you go. All right, there's NBC 10. You see them on TikTok. They're right into the corner of the screen. And I believe everybody on Facebook and X, let's see. Oh, they're going to park there and then go to the sidewalk. So so see, folks, now he's going to set up. Thanks for the mention, Channel 10. Oh, we just got tipped off. There's been inmate. Yeah, how'd you find that out? Gee, I wonder how you found out that there was an inmate loose. Gee, let me guess, Chislers. Folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by Watson Materials. They carry the largest selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island. Hey, Channel 10 Photog, make sure you say as first reported by Road Patrol Live, Chisla. Watson Materials, largest landscape materials in Rhode Island, Watson Materials. Now, again, for NBC 10, by the way, the guy could have walked over here. They're so close. Kind of embarrassing that I beat them on the story, but Those of you that watch Road Patrol know this has become the norm. Watson Materials, largest selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island. Call them today, 401-885-0600. Perfect time to make the most of your outdoor space. They can help you create elegant, round-year fire features that keep the warmth alive. Watson Materials, Landscape Supply Center. Look for them on Facebook. And again, you can call them, request a quote, 401-885-0600. Watson Materials, the most complete selection of landscape materials in Rhode Island, 401-885-0600. Landscape lighting, pavers, retaining walls, natural stone, cobblestone, decorative stone. Watson Materials. Call them today. Get a quote. There's the chiseler. Thanks for the credit on the story, NBC 10. Watson Materials. Give them a call, 401-885-0600, and look for them on Facebook. Folks, again, good afternoon. You are watching. This is The Real News, Road Patrol Live. Now, folks, do you see the pattern? Who broke the West Warwick story? We did. Who broke the armed robbery? Who broke the story that we have a fugitive inmate from the ACI? We did. We're here. Who shows up? And for those that are watching that don't realize that are from out of state, that is the #1 TV station in the state who shows up 45 minutes after. And that's the #1 station in the state. We haven't seen #2 or 3. So that is the power of Road Patrol Live. If you're on TikTok, you could send a rose. You could send a cap. You could send an iced coffee or those little Halloween ghosts or whatever the various things, the live gifts. If you're on Facebook, you can send stars. There's ways to say, I like the live, unfiltered stream. And there's many examples of it. People want it. People like it. Look at that. Crime is down. Oh, yeah. Good thing crime's down. I'd hate to think that if it was up. Crime is down. Every night we're at a murder, a standoff, armed robbery, and all the Democrat officials. Crime is down. Crime is down. Now, not only can they not keep them locked up, not only can they not capture some of them, they can't keep them locked up. Insanity right now. It is. We will continue to feed the real news. There he goes, the walk of shame. Beaten once again to the story by the real news, Road Patrol Live. The long walk of shame back to the television vehicle. We will continue uncensored, unfiltered. Look what 60 Minutes did with the Harris interview. On second thought, I want to change my answer on Israel. Not a problem. And then they change it. The indignity. The photog has to walk back to the truck. Beaten again by the chosen one. Yep. They can try. They can't keep up. Nothing can stop Road Patrol Live. The people are tired of it. You're tired of hearing crime is down. You're tired of hearing sob stories about criminals and inmates. Wrong. We're under attack. The governor of the state, Governor McKee, is it true Rhode Island is a sanctuary state? I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't know. All right, here's NBC 10 backing up. Full walk of shame. I mean, this is basically, there's no difference here of someone on a early morning, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, making their way to the exit of the house to the apartment building in the same clothes that they wore the night before. There they go. The full walk of shame. NBC 10. The team you used to be able to trust. Now a distant second to the chosen one. Yep. right now at 153. There it is. So menacing there. There's again, everybody now. It is hey, of course it's the story. And we'll be out later today. Now remember, follow. Oh, here comes another media outlet. Follow the page if you want to see. The fugitive chases are pretty good. Sometimes I admit it can be a little mundane, but the fugitive chases are really good. People ask me all the time, what are the best stories to cover on Road Patrol? Well, the number one story that we've ever well, obviously the BLM protests and riots was one thing, but short of that, the prison riot here at the ACI, it was August of 23. That was unbelievable. You could hear the inmates, the place. There was so many security here. I mean, you can't have it. You can't have. The inmates were trying to make their way to the exit. So a prison riot, I learned, we did huge numbers that night. That's really like the best story. The other stories, those of you that watch Road Patrol Live, car chases are really good, unpredictable. Everybody's going high rate of speed, myself included. Armed standoffs, obviously really good. Those are normally the best. But a fugitive, if there is an armed standoff with a wanted criminal, if you remember last summer, there was a cartel member was executed in Oneyville. And the suspect was hiding in Providence, and they block off the street, and they're calling to him, "You are surrounded. Come out with your hands up. This is the Providence police." And then, they have the canines and the dogs and the long guns out. The armed standoff of a fugitive, that's pretty good action. The other thing I want to mention was, now that was in Cranston, by the way, where we are again, only because of the ACI, but when we were at the Cranston standoff, it was the Tuesday night. I think it was the Tuesday after Labor Day, actually, when you had the older man that fired at the police. All bets are off if you fire a weapon at police. He barely missed. That guy, the gunman, he almost took out his spouse, and then he almost killed 2 Cranston police officers. Can you imagine what story that would have been? But that night of the standoff in Cranston, the Cranston police were getting out of their vehicle. They think they're walking into a domestic, and then suddenly bullets are whizzing past their head. That guy almost killed 2 Cranston police officers. And then that's why, if you were watching our live stream that night, there was no way, there was nothing routine about SWAT, and they had the Bearcat, and they had the tank, and no one was going through the motions that night. If you were watching, and we had the best spot for that, by the way, when you saw the SWAT loading their weapons, they were on, if that guy comes out of the house and he's got a handgun in his house, boom, it is in motion. Just fire at will. That was the command that came down. Folks, this portion of our program, the real news, Road Patrol Live, fugitive search. We have a prisoner who's a fugitive right now from the ACI. Is brought to you by Propane Plus. Call them today, 401-885-4200. 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359. For Propane Plus, if you use propane, contact Propane Plus today for all your propane needs. They also have a very user-friendly website. You just log on at propaneplus.com, and then you put in your zip code, residential or commercial, boom. Always there for you, Propane Plus. Call them today in Rhode Island for all your propane needs. 401-885-4209. And in Massachusetts, give them a call, 508-252-3359 for Propane Plus. Now, right now, it's 1:58 in the East. This is Road Patrol Live, real news. We have a fugitive prisoner from the ACI, which you're looking live at. As we speak, we are live on TikTok. We are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. We are live on X, and we are live on the radio, AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. I encourage you to log on to our website, DePietro.com. Now, by the way, at the website, you can see the story on the prisoner who's a fugitive right now from the ACI. See that story. They are certainly on guard right now. Now, there are the sheriffs. Look at that. Here you see them in motion. The sheriffs are heading out. They are sending out the forces right now to try to locate the fugitive. You're watching that live. At the website, DePietro.com, are links to all of our social media. Folks, stay tuned. On the radio, you're going to have the 2 o'clock news, Road Patrol. There go the sheriffs. They're heading out in motion, full gear, to look for the fugitive. There they go. You're watching. We're going to have fugitive search later. Stay tuned. All right, folks, we'll be back later. Stay tuned. Road Patrol Live.